Hey there, BrewTube, AZ Homebrewer. Finally coming back with a real video for you guys. I know last week I did a test run of a glycol chiller, and this is kind of part two to it, because now what I'm getting ready to do is back here, over here is my cider that I'm going to be cold crashing, which is what today's video is about. This one over here is another cucumber, lime, basil. And this section right here is actually my glycol unit, and now I actually have the glycol in the water itself. So this is basically a demonstration of cold crashing, and I'm going to take a sample of before and after so you can actually see the difference between the two. So stick around. Okay, so this is my brewery setup for what I have here in Arizona. This is the garage. And it is summertime here right now. So outside, I think it's like 112, 113 degrees here in good old sunny AZ. So obviously, I needed to make a glycol chiller because I just recently moved. And the place where I used to be able to ferment this stuff, it wasn't, I didn't have that space anymore. So I had to adapt and overcome. So in here, just a quick rundown of this is my glycol chiller. Here's what I grabbed. I actually grabbed 2.5 gallons of this stuff. Only needed 2 gallons of it. There's information on the web as for the ratio and whatnot. If you have a refractometer, if you get like around 27 reading, 28 reading, then basically you can take this down to about 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, that is Fahrenheit. In here, it's kind of hard to see because it's dark in here, but I have the cooling coil in there. I have a little fan, or it's not a fan, a pump running constant water through there, and I have the two supply water pumps behind the grate right there. And as you can see, it's all moving around at 15 degrees. So this is the one right here I'm going to be cold crashing. It's about 5 gallons of a hard cider that my brew club is doing. And so, it's basically time to cold crash. So right now, it's about 60 degrees for the main unit in here. Because here's my, my thermometer for my pump and TC and all that other fun stuff. So what I'm going to do is go and take a sample. I've already done my secondary trub dump everything else. So I'm going to take a secondary sample of the cider, and then I'm going to cold crash it, depending on how long it takes. I'll take another sample and we'll do a little side by side. Okay. First thing you always want to do is do your sanitizer. So I got meta and citric acid in here. Basically, because I don't have a normal sampling port for this thing, I got to do it this way. Basically, obviously, we'll make sure everything's sanitized. Anything that the mead or beer are going to come in contact with. Back here is just my blow-off tube. I have an old growler for it. That's all that is. And you don't, if you open this up without releasing the backdraft, it's going to create a vacuum, and you might wind up pulling some of the old sanitizer or blow off junk or something like that back into the vessel itself. So basically, just going to come in here. So I take a sample. Now this is before cold crash. So kind of see how milky it is. We'll go inside where there's better light so you can see this. So let's take a look. Okay, so the best light I could find basically is the bathroom because we had the natural lights going on. So here's the cider. Okay, it looks a little bit more opaque on the video than what it really is. Obviously a little bubbly and whatnot, but you can see how milky it really is. It's nice and fermented clean. A lot of the appleiness got taken out, basically because of the sweetness. So this thing is probably pretty dry. I'll take a measurement of it. But the starting gravity was about 1048, and I'm going to assume the frontal gravity is right around 1, maybe 998, 996, somewhere around right there. But it doesn't have that strange, nasty, acidic astringency at the end, which is nice. That comes with fermentation additives and whatnot. But overall, not too bad. I did save a gallon of this for back sweetening. I'm probably will end up doing that, but for right now, I'm just going to enjoy a little bit of dry sample. So anyway, let's go back to the cold crash. Okay, sorry if it's a little loud right now. AC unit came on because this fermenter kicked on because it was getting too warm. So I wound up pulling it, and so now it's cooling the vessel back down again. So basically, for this thing, is now I just got to go into a cold crash. And this works for beer or mead, depending on what temperature controller you have. Basically, you're just setting this thing down to near freezing temps. So, that's about it. Because this thing, obviously you can't take this down to that because that doesn't have any glycol in it. So you still have to worry about the freezing temperature range and whatnot. This has glycol in it, so that's the reason why I'm able to go sub 32 degrees, or it'd be negative whatever in Celsius. I'm sorry, I'm a Yank. I don't know that Celsius shit. And so basically, this will keep going. Once again, because this is going to be contracting because it's getting cold, I'm going to have to pull out. Once again, I know it's hard to see, and I apologize. My blow-off tube right there, it's going to start trying to pull up liquid just because of the vacuum of the whole thing. So I'll come back out here and just relieve the pressure. If anything, I'll just kind of break this part loose. And I'll come back and show you a cold crash sample so we can see the clarity between the two of them. All right? For you, it'll be instantaneous, but for me, it'll probably be a day or two. So this is a 24-hour difference. One on the left was the sample you just saw me take. And this one right here on the right is one that I just took today, about 24 hours later. Now, you notice, normally, I want to wait a little bit longer before I take a new sample. But looking closely, sorry, this isn't all HD and shit. But the one on the left does look a little bit more darker or whatnot versus the one on the right. It looks a little bit more opaque. This one looks a little bit more golden. Just a slight little difference between the two. So I kind of put that back, try to put something behind it. So you can kind of see, especially with put my hand behind there, the difference in color. That this one on the left is a little bit darker than the one on the right. So that's just 24 hours. Let's do another one in 48. Okay, so as you can see, this is the one that I pulled the sample off just as soon as I started cold crashing. And this sample is the one, actually 3 days later, so 72 hours. This is, I know you can see the difference on this time of how cloudy that one is, and even though that's not clear, but you can see that the clarity is a lot different. And didn't wind up taking a video or anything of the trub dump, but cold crashing. Now this is no other additives or anything. This is just straight up chilled. So at the time when this sample was pulled out was around 38 degrees, and then this was actually around the 60 degree mark. So you can see the effects of it, and I highly recommend it. So if you got any questions, go and put it down in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.